Hey guys, it's Combat Saturday, and today we're going to talk about the Wing Chun butterfly swords. Okay, so first of all, what is the idea behind the swords? All right, and what's the best way to approach using them and training with them? Okay, so you know the expression how the weapon is an extension of the hands. Okay, the person who wields it is an extension of their hands. Okay, that's absolutely true. Okay, and it applies to the swords here. Okay, I'm going to go so far to say that you can't truly understand the proper energies of Wing Chun unless you know the swords. Okay, and that's why it is considered to be the higher levels of Wing Chun. Because you're dealing with the advanced energies and structure and some of the different kinds of footwork and different techniques which aren't taught at the lower levels. Okay, so it's very important to understand that. It's the swords really make everything make sense to you. I guess it ties it all together. All right. Okay, so the best way to approach the sword, now I mentioned before, is an extension of the hands. Okay, so when you're training with your empty hands, everything starts with a very small frame, and then it becomes bigger and bigger and bigger. Okay, so if I'm just training my footwork, for example, only my feet, well, I want to use my hips, my feet. Okay, first is open to our stance. Okay, it's important. You see my feet here? Okay, here, open, open, open. This is called Yi Ji Kim Yu Ma. This is the basic Wing Chun stance. Okay, like goat restraining stance. So holding goat here. Come on, hold still, right? That kind of thing. Okay, so this represents two of your rear legs. Okay, this is the foundation for all our movements. Okay, so if I want to step this way, I could shift here and step. I can shift back and step. So everything is very small frame, very compact, very tight. I'm just staying here. I'm learning how to move my center. I know I'm centered here. I gotta move it, move it. See? Now when you're doing this, be mindful of your elbows. Don't do this. Okay? Be mindful of your elbows. Just go forward. No pull back. Just go forward. Okay? That a pull back would be what's known as a telegraph. You're giving yourself away. All right? So no pull back. Just go forward. Okay? Then let me get these out of the way here. All right, so that's the basic footwork, okay? And then we also practice stepping through. So that's how you step in the same lead. So if I was to go in the same lead, I'd just keep on going, back, 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 left, right. I'm gonna stay in that lead, okay? If I wanna step through, I'm gonna go like here, foot comes together, here, foot comes together, here, so on and so on, okay? That's the basic stepping, all right? Now, when you look at how that ties in with the swords, okay? So there's like the small frame, right? Then if I do the big frame, with the bigger frame, okay, with my hands. Now I'm gonna take a technique, this is called the ganda, a lower strike, a lower block with a strike. This can be a strike too, actually, but for simplicity's sake, we're going to say a lower strike. Boom, boom, boom. Okay? See? So lower strike. There we go. Okay? There's also a technique called the quan sao. Quan sao it means like rolling. So I'm going to go like here, here, here. So I'm going to step through. My arms are crossed. Again, I'm still staying in a smaller frame because I don't have weapons yet. I'm still using my bare hands, so it's still tight. Okay, so we're going to take those two examples today. There are about 8 sections of the form that you need to know, but we're just going to take these two to make you understand the structure and how to approach it. Okay, so now we started by just moving the body. Then we added our hands to it, right? And then we added this one to it, okay? and the hands too. Well, now we're going to use a sword, but what happens with the sword is that because the swords are now your hands, okay? See, before, my hands were like this, kind of here, because, I mean, I only have my hands, right? But because I have the swords here, look at this. The swords are now my hands. So look, my fists are together. They're not crossed anymore, they're together, see? This is now the bigger frame. See, so I started with just the feet and my elbows held here. Then I use the empty hands, and then this is the biggest frame where I go here. See, so my hands are together. If I just did that without the swords, I'd be like this, right? Which isn't that good. So you have to adjust the size of your frame depending on what you're doing, okay? So small frame could be like elbows, for example, right? I'm keeping real tight, okay? Then bigger frame, palm, right? Ganda, right? We did these things, right? And then biggest frame is with the swords, okay? So you go small to large, okay? It's important to understand that, because a big misconception is a lot of people think that Wing Chun and other close range combat systems can only work at that range, that they have no long range methods at all. What they don't understand is that no, things can increase, like the frame can increase, depends on what you're doing, but the idea is that you need to understand the energies in the small range first, the small frame first, before you can understand the big frame, okay? Because if you don't understand the small frame, you don't understand how to get the elbow structure. Focus on that elbow. Focus on the elbow. If you don't understand that, what's going to happen is that if you just go right to this, you're going to end up doing this kind of stuff. Oh, you just kind of go all over the place, and you're going to be focusing on the blades, and you're going to be reaching like this. Whereas I should be here, where I'm still have my structure. Okay, true, I have longer reach, but my structure doesn't change. Okay, all right. So the basic training method. There are a couple of primary striking methods, and then I'll show you the stepping methods, okay? And this is how the sword form is trained, okay? How the swords are trained. So, first up, we have the jumsa. Jumsa, so jumsa with the hands is a forward and downward chop, kind of. It's not down like this, right? It's forwards and downward, okay? Because we have swords, we have a little snap at the end. So here, I'll start here, and I'll snap it down. Snap it down. See, so I'm going forward, I'm snapping it down. Remember, these are my hands now, okay? If I don't have these, I'm going to snap with my hand, right? Or maybe like this. But now, these are my hands. So, I'm going to snap down. Snap down. And we finish each section of the form with this movement, okay? Very, very important, because this is kind of your default technique. Anything happens, and bang, just snap it down, right? Even if someone comes in towards you, right, with a bare hand, bang, right, snap it down. Okay, then we have the straight thrust. Okay, so straight thrust, it goes out like a punch, but at the end you have a snap down again. Okay, so punch. Remember, these are kind of like knuckle dusters, right? So here, right, go out and but snap at the end. And you can add a shift too, okay? So shift. And you see how the other hand comes back to guard, right? You're always aware of it. Okay? So those are the basic techniques. So what we're going to do here is we're going to use, now I'm going to alter the order of the form a little bit just to make it, so you can understand it a bit more easily, okay? But what we're going to do here, because I mentioned earlier, I'm going to show you that Ganda technique, okay? So let's stick with that, okay? So what we're going to do here, I'm going to start, first you get in your stance, okay? Yeah. There's a fancy way to open it up, but don't worry about that for now, okay? So here, so we start with a double jump stop. Then we do, let's start 1, 2, 3, 4. So this, typically you'll do it four times, starting with the left, 4 times starting with the right, okay? But you can do this, any number of times you want to. You can do it 100 times if you want to, okay? the idea is that there's three basic sections: shifting, stationary; stepping through; stepping back. Okay, that's basically it. But how you do it is the key. So I do this, right? Then I do a jump style. I do this, start with the right hand, right? Jump style, okay? Then what's gonna happen is I'm gonna step and I'm gonna do a ganda. See, ganda, see, lower strike and upper strike, lower block and upper strike. Imagine the stack, right? Then I can step through. You see what I did there? I went here and went here. This hand is in guard all the time, see? So, boom, boom. And then one more step through, boom. Okay, so now I need to come back. So what I'll do is I'll do double slashes on the way back as I pivot. Oh, around the room here. Okay, but that's the idea. I have more space here. Okay, so that's the idea. So, you know, I did my shifting, right? I stepped here, and actually this one, now you can, the actual form, the way it's done is like after you've done this one, you step through with another chop, right? Another chop here. So boom, boom, right? But you could just do another ganda if you want to. So boom, boom, boom. And then when you come back, right, you've got this double slash. And then get back here. And then when you get back to the beginning, you do the slash again, okay? So this pivot, when you come back, very important, because when you look at the, in boxing, right, the check hook, right, you pivot on your foot as you punch, right, it's called a check hook, because you can get a lot of power that way, because you get your whole body behind it, and you can really, really get some power. So same idea when you use a sword to go bang, right? Bang, bang. They do the same thing in Kali, you know, with the stick fighting. Same thing, you know, you're using the whole body to get behind there, see? So you're learning the shifting to get the whole body structure behind it, okay? Then you're stepping through, pivot, 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 okay? So these footwork methods, you know, there's a lot of stuff happening there, okay? And people who are sometimes confused, you know, I tell people that Wing Chun and boxing are actually in the same realm. And people get a little confused about that. They don't understand it. Well, if you're seeing, you know, the way these guys do, you know, all this kind of shit, right? 100 times, yeah, that's bullshit. But when you learn it properly with the correct footwork and this kind of thing, and the correct structure, and you actually, you know, you can actually feel, you know, the difference between a smaller frame and larger frame moves. And when you understand all that, then it makes more sense. And then you understand it, and then you can see how, after a while, it's all one. Okay, so these swords, remember, nothing special about it. They are an extension of the hands, and they will improve your hands. Okay, so after I've done those drills on the sword, now if I just come here, do the same thing here, slightly smaller frame, right? Slightly smaller frame, but still same idea, right? The same feeling. Okay, so that's the thing. Always remember, swords are an extension. Any weapon is an extension of your hands. Okay, so let's do a review here. Okay, now obviously, I mean, this kind of stuff, it takes a long time to truly understand it and get it and make it instinctive. Okay, but still, I want to give you an idea of what these are about and how to use them. Okay, so you got shift, 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 shift. Then we have a step, 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 and then we have the pivot, pivot, pivot. Okay, you can also step backwards too. So after I've done this, I could step back on this way. I could do that as well. Okay, so either step or pivot back. But pivoting back probably works the best. I mean, because you know, you can turn, you can get that power there. Okay, I could come here. I could do like if I do a double slash here, I can do a slash there, right? Okay, wham, wham, wham. See? So I come here, bang, bang, boom, and always just like you know, your hands. You never want to leave one hand dead. Always one hand guard, one hand strike. Okay. Now, one other thing I'm gonna make a comment of. A lot of people like to do this sword flipping thing, right? They'll do this kind of shit, right? This kind of stuff, and it looks kind of cool, but that initially came from the old days when men would wear big long like formal clothing they wore in China, and they would hide the sword in their sleeves. Like this is kind of where it came from. They would hold on. I don't practice this movement here, but you would hide it in your sleeve there, big long sleeve, and then you flip it out, and you're ready to rock, right? Ready to rock. That's kind of where it came from, okay? But don't be doing that in the middle of a fight. There's some people that do this kind of thing where they'll come here, do that, and then they'll flip it and do that and flip it. Okay. Well, during this time when you're flipping it, number one, it's kind of a void movement. All right. During that time, there's nothing happening, and you can get like hit during that time or cut. Okay, whatever, stabbed, whatever. You know, and also you run the risk of dropping it. Okay, which is definitely not something you want to do. Okay, so just remember that. Okay, don't do any fancy movements. Okay, this is just a matter of an extension of the hands, and just think of it that way and leave it at that. Okay. So, anyways, that's it. Hope you found this useful. You have any questions? Let me know, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Okay.